Hey guys and gals, welcome back to another episode of Real Talk. Today's episode is about selecting a bait and lure maker for your trap line. Now keep in mind, by doing this video, I'm not suggesting or trying to push you towards one bait and lure maker over any other. That's not the goal of this video. The goal of this video is to kind of put out some information about a process that I believe is effective and might help you as a trapper grow. The same way it helped me. Okay, so first off, in my opinion, I don't like to have one bait and lure maker only that I purchase from. The reason being, a lot of times recipe to recipe they'll carry over and run the same base or the same ingredient, from recipe to recipe. Well, that can limit your success out on the trap line. That doesn't mean that it's a bad recipe, and that doesn't mean that you've got a bad bait and lure maker. That just means that by sticking with one, you could be limiting your success. So, but also you don't want to have 100 different bait and lure makers products sitting at your home, or at least I don't. So I really like that number of 3 bait and lure makers. Now, selecting a bait and lure maker. A lot of times somebody will hear a big name and they'll order offline, and that's how they select their bait and lure maker. That's fine. I'm not discouraging that process. However, I do encourage you, if you can meet your bait and lure maker and see if they can help you grow as a trapper, not just sell you bait or lure, but help you as an individual grow. Maybe you can ask them questions, talk trapping with them. Those should be important things in your mind when selecting a bait and lure maker, because at the end of the day, if they're just selling you a lure, I feel like you're missing out on a big piece of the puzzle. So I personally have selected over the years 3 bait and lure makers that are somewhat local to me. Okay, there's things I look for when I select them. First off, like I said, one that helps you grow as a trapper and as a person, right? You develop a friendship, a very good bond. That's one thing that's very important to me. Second thing, they've got to be reliable, right? When you put in an order, you need to know that it's going to get there. Or they've got to have at least the same products that work very well on your line. So when you go back to let's say, if I tend to buy mine from conventions, when you go back, you know that product's there, so you can purchase it again. So reliability is huge when selecting a bait and lure maker. And then I would say a third important aspect is an honest bait and lure maker. Somebody who's not going to discredit other bait and lure makers products, but also give you straight feedback, like, hey, let's use this for instance. Let's say I'm a bait and lure maker. I am. That's true. If somebody comes to me and they're looking for a type of lure, and I don't sell that type of lure, I'm not just going to sit there and misguide them. And your bait and lure maker that you choose should not either. If they know another bait and lure maker that sells that product and it's a top-notch product, they should straight up say, hey, look, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't make this, but so-and-so does. I've ran it. I can vouch for it, and it's a solid product. Right? That's what I look for in a bait and lure maker. Those 3 things. Honesty, a growth aspect, so a lot of hands-on and growth where I can talk to them and grow as a trapper and converse with them. And then, of course, the reliability that the products that I grow to love is going to be there year to year. All 3 of those things are super important. I've kind of done a video about this before, but I wanted to cover it again because I think a lot of times what happens is a guy or gal shows up at a convention and they buy from the first table they see. And I don't think you should do that. I really don't. I think you should do your own research. I think you should walk around, converse, watch how the bait and lure makers interact. Really formulate a good opinion of your own on who you want to go with. This should be a long-term relationship, especially if you're going to trap for a long time. Yeah, guys, that's my honest feedback right there. And I think at the end of the day, the decision is always yours. So this information I'm taking, if it doesn't apply to you, disregard it. If you think there's something important there, you know, you can take it and apply to your situation. If you want to order from a bait and lure maker that's no longer alive, right, but they have quality products, that's fine. But then maybe go ahead and add a second bait and lure maker that's local, that you can interact with and grow with. Yeah, that's what I got today, guys. Anyways, that's the end of this episode. I'm going to have a couple more episodes. Season's going to be here before we know it. So tight chains, guys. I hope this helps you out, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you, guys.